Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Storytime with Panik. I am Panik, and today we're going to read an article written by Roland Bush. Tunnel of Oppression article. It is a dimly lit room set to mimic a tunnel containing pictures depicting racism, hatred, and oppression throughout American history. This room is known to Ferris State University students as the Tunnel of Oppression. The event is part of the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Week. According to Mike Wade, the coach of the MLK committee at Ferris State University, claimed the Tunnel of Oppression has been an event that has taken place for the last 3 years on campus. Wade went on to claim that every year new things get added to the event. The tunnel starts at the entrance with a poster containing the image of an African American male tied to a post and being whipped by a Caucasian man. The poster contained a copy of the letter explaining the event taking place in the poster. Above the poster, a replica of the whip depicted in the poster was attached to the back of the poster by use of ropes. People walking through the tunnel upon viewing this were shocked. Some stood in silence just taking in the images. Following the poster, there are clippings with information on hate crime statistics. Above the hate crime statistics, hanging from the ceiling, are cards that contain discriminatory names. One of the hate crime clippings had a story about foreign students returning to school after the 9/11 attacks. It was detailed as being a privilege to go to school in the United States, but also very risky due to the current tension between Americans and the country of origin these students were from. After the clippings of crime statistics, there was a wall of Ku Klux Klan information. A copy of the oath that Klan members take was shown. Also on the wall was a picture of the float that the Klan had in a parade. On the opposite side of the Klan wall, there was a bulletin of racist comics. The comics used a lot of slurs towards different ethnic groups. There was a particular comic that claimed Jewish people were bad news. Following the racist comics, there was a wall containing many jokes. The jokes included things about blonde-haired women. Also, there were jokes that made fun of Mexican Americans. There were ads on a board next to the jokes. The ads depicted a certain type of brush and made fun of the people that did not own or buy the particular products. Past the ads, there were caricatures featuring African American children as uneducated or not having proper speech patterns. There was a picture of an African American child being eaten by an alligator with the line, "A free lunch in the jungle." Many other ads were shown, one depicting a nurse with only Caucasian children, and the ad was giving off a certain message of segregation. Next was a wall of Japanese and American tension. A caricature was displayed of Uncle Sam with a Japanese child over his knee, and he was spanking the child, and the message on the poster was saying that Americans didn't want Japanese people around. Another image follows from a costume set. It was a Halloween costume called Kung Fu. It was depicting a Japanese Asian person with a messed up face wearing a Kung Fu outfit. The set apparently came with fake nunchucks as well. Following this display, there was a wall with Holocaust images and pictures. The images show people who were malnourished. There was a card on the wall that said that Jews were forced to dig their own graves. At the exit of the tunnel, there are images of bulimic and anorexic people. There are poems about anorexia and bulimia. Some stories are contained on cards posted on the wall. When asked about what they felt about the images they had seen, FSU professor Mike Slocum stated, "Some images are grisly. They serve as a reminder as part of history that people try to forget. The images catch some people off guard." FSU student Tom Gott said, "Some of the images are overwhelming." Another FSU student, Mandy Verberg, said, "It is horrible how people can do this to other people and that no one attempted to step in and stop this." Martin Luther King Day was started after a black congressman introduced a bill that would make the civil rights leader MLK's birthday a national holiday. All states now honor the holiday. Arizona at first opposed it, and it cost them sponsorship deals. They came around the following year and still continue to celebrate the holiday. According to Matt Ickoff, FSU's MLK Week began in 2006. Before 2006, it was just a celebration that lasted a few days. The Tunnel of Oppression was started in 2005. The idea came from other schools that did similar things. The reason for the holiday being turned into a week is because the Multicultural Office felt that they were having success with the events and wanted to elaborate more on Martin Luther King Jr. and get the information out to the community. The original purpose of the holiday was to honor Martin Luther King and his accomplishments to the civil rights movement. The focus has not changed, as the holiday still focuses on Dr. King's work and accomplishments. The holiday not only focuses on Martin Luther King's contribution to African Americans, but to all races and people. Some contributions MLK made include the bus boycott of 1955. In 1955, Rosa Parks, a middle-aged woman, refused to give up her seat to a white man. She was arrested. Following this incident, Martin Luther King led a boycott against the buses. The boycott lasted 15 months, and black people walked to work until the bus company accepted integration on the buses on December 20th, 1956. Another contribution by Martin Luther King was his work in getting the Civil Rights Bill passed. The Civil Rights Bill was introduced to Congress in 1963, and in an attempt to get the bill passed through Congress, Dr. King organized the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. King was able to persuade various civil rights leaders to join in a planned protest meeting at Lincoln Memorial. Martin Luther King also helped in founding the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in 1957. The SCLC was created to help organize nonviolent protests by black church authority figures. This group followed the principle of civil disobedience. Martin Luther King was assassinated on April 4, 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee. He was to give a speech to support African American sanitary workers. King was murdered at the Lorraine Motel. King's last words were to a musician named Ben Branch. He asked Branch to play the song Take My Hand, Precious Lord. 5 days after the assassination, President Lyndon Johnson declared the National Day of Mourning for King would be observed. King's funeral was held the same day. At the request of King's widow, he eulogized himself. King's famous sermon, entitled Drum Major, was played during the funeral. Martin Luther King was an important figure in American history. Martin Luther King's contribution helped many people, not just African Americans. Many of his contributions are still observed in current society. That concludes today's reading. This has been Storytime with Panik. See you next time, everybody.